If your ex is dating someone right after the breakup, you need to watch this video because I'm gonna explain what you should be doing, whether you have any chance of getting back with your ex, and I'm gonna be very realistic, and perhaps I will be the bearer of bad news in this video, telling you should move on, you should stop trying to get this person back in your life. I'll explain everything after the jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So first of all, when we see that the most important person in our life is now dating someone else, there's always this element of shock. Sometimes we're angry, and there's an element of deception. We feel betrayed, right? I thought I knew this person. How could that person do this to me? How can she or he be in a relationship so quickly? Because it's not something I could do. I haven't healed from the breakup. For me, it's very fresh. For me, we'll still have a chance of working things out, but they kind of give up on us. They kind of decided, and maybe that's the problem, it's so painful, it's so difficult to see, they've decided that you guys don't have any future together. So this element is the reason we feel so hurt, we feel it's so painful to see our ex being with someone else. The thing is, this relationship for them is not a big deal. And that's the big difference between your perception of the relationship and the breakup, because that was something important, something you cared about, versus this new relationship they have with this person and they don't really care about. And you'll see it's very important to understand this concept because that will help you assess your reality, compare your position, your role in the context of this breakup, and whether you should get back, whether you have a chance of getting back with your ex as well. First of all, let's talk about you two first. Let's forget about this person, let's forget about this new boyfriend or girlfriend. We sometimes refer them as rebound, so the ability to bounce back from a relationship to another. And on this one, maybe pause the video, reflect, be honest with yourself, have an honest conversation with yourself, and answer those questions. Was this relationship a mutually loving and respectful relationship? If it's a maybe, ask yourself the question again. If you're not able to answer yes, 100% yes, you need to explore. You need to really drill down and understand why you're not able to say yes 100%. Was my ex still showing they loved me before we broke up? In other words, if your ex wasn't in love with you at the end of a relationship, then it means that in a way it's easier for them to fall in love with someone else because they don't feel attached to the relationship anymore. It's very important. So very often, most of my clients, their exes are still in love with them. And I'll explain why they are dating someone so quickly. Is it something, did you feel that your relationship, you had a lot of fights, a lot of disagreements, things that will build up a form of resentment, thing that was dormant for years, and in a way, people sometimes bounce back to a relationship because they sort of escape, they never really express their some of the things they didn't like about the relationship, or maybe they did, but you never managed to find a resolution, and they quickly jump back to a new relationship because they feel, this one will be safe. Okay? Another one is how long was the relationship at the roommate stage? So very often people tell me, like, we've been together for 20 years, but in reality, as a couple, as a unit, only 10 years, and it's been 10 years of being roommate. The longer it is, the harder it is for you to get back with your ex. I put together a quiz for you to know if you have any chance of getting back with your ex. It also takes into account whether your ex is in a rebound relationship. It's another way of looking at those questions in a very simple way. It's about, 25 questions, I think. So 4 minutes to complete. Have a look in the description. There's a link. It's totally free and it gives you a score, an idea whether you should give up or move on. So not a big deal. Let's look at the not a big deal. The reason they are dating someone so quickly is that they want to actively, or maybe it's unconscious, avoid dealing with the process, the grieving process of the relationship. Even if they took the decision to end the relationship, this is a painful process. This is something very hard for people to deal with, even if they took the decision to end the relationship. And this new relationship, this person, makes them feel that they can be in a new relationship. Because very often when we take the decision to end the relationship, there's a lot of uncertainty, the unknown. We're not sure whether we made the right decision. And dating someone can revalidate the idea that we made the right decision. There's also an element of ego when we feel that we win the breakup. You're single, I'm dating someone. And the idea that they're okay. And so they don't have to discuss with people about the breakup because they're in a relationship and in a way they're okay. So that's a dynamic. And again, we have conscious and unconscious drivers very often, like always in life, mostly unconscious drivers. What they're going through is they're high in chemicals such as dopamine and norepinephrine. I managed to say it properly. When we're in love, when we start a new relationship, and when I say in love, not necessarily, when there's a novelty element, the idea that someone cares about us, provides us attention, we overvalue this new relationship. It's kind of a contrast with the relationship that they left. And it's very interesting, and there's been studies about that. When we are in love, the chemicals in our brain affect our decision making. It's fascinating, but it does. And so we're kind of stupid because we are addicted, because we are high on those drugs, and it affects our judgment. And the reality of your ex at this stage is that they feel, if I have to summarize in a simple way, this rebound is great, this person is amazing, and you're bad, this was awful. So it's always this idealization of the relationship. Always when they start a rebound relationship, they idealize, they put that person on a pedestal. As you might understand, this is temporary. They escaped this situation, the relationship, and they're using a quick fix to deal with this. Not traumatic, but this difficult step of moving from a relationship to another, from dealing with the breakup. So they escaped, and now they have a quick fix with the rebound. But what happens is that rebound, this affair, this thing, might become a relationship. And when it becomes a relationship, it doesn't serve its purpose anymore because we are back to the thing they escaped, right? And so the same element of pressure, the same reasons they broke up with you, or maybe other reasons that I will explain in the next slide, will drive this relationship to fail, right? Because they're not with this person out of desire, but out of need. Let me explain. Champagne versus Prosecco. I'm French, and I do know that champagne is different than Prosecco. And in a way, that's what happens when your partner will stop idealize the relationship. Your ex will grow bored of this relationship, and they will start comparing this to a relationship. And that's why it's important to assess whether your relationship was strong in the first place, right? Because if they feel like, I don't like this new relationship, but the one before was not necessarily something to me, the person didn't respect my needs, we couldn't really communicate, I felt unhappy with this person, yes, they might not, this rebound relationship might not work, but they might not get back with you. So remember, if you have a high score for the test, for example, at the test, remember that they have to compare two situations. They have to compare something that comes out of desire, your relationship, something where they grew intimacy for months, for years, where you have a history, where you have different projects, different things that you shared, versus someone that they met because they needed this person. Nobody will ever admit that they are dating someone because they need that person as an emotional band-aid, but that's what happens. They date that person because they need this person to help them deal with the breakup. And so that's not the best foundations to start a relationship, right? So don't be scared. When they compare, they will always realize what they lost. So what do you have to do right now? Let this relationship fail, because it will. Very often people want to interfere, they want to accelerate the process. Let it fail. The problem is, if you show up, if you try to communicate, if you try to interfere, you'll be the crazy ex, you'll be the one that doesn't accept the situation, that's not mature with the situation. Let them experience a little bit like you will let a kid experience things and decide that whether they like it or not. Trust me, they won't like it. Your role right now is not to think about this rebound, this person, whether he's more handsome, she's more charismatic, whatever, more successful. We don't care at this stage. What we care about, and the reason we need to focus our attention on that, is because it's the only thing that you can control, is reflecting on your role in this breakup, reflecting on the dynamic of the relationship, looking at the things you need to address, your insecurities, your wounds, how you can become more efficient in terms of your communication, how you can speak the same language with your partner. And in that context, time is on your side. Because the problem that I have very often when it comes to helping people getting back with their ex, the only way to get back with your ex is to show them that there's another relationship, that things can change, and the reason or the perception they had of the relationship was wrong. The challenge is sometimes it takes a bit of time to change. So if we talk about attachment style, learning how to become secure can take weeks or months. And so while your partner, your ex, is wasting their time, distracting themselves from what really matters, you're doing the work. You're focusing on what matters, right? And you are in the best position ever to drive change. And when they compare those two things, of course they'll reach out. Of course they'll be curious about what you're up to. And they'll see a change. They'll see a massive change, right? It's very important and it's fundamental. You can't get back with them, regardless they're dating someone, regardless they are single. You can't get back with someone if things are the same. People don't get back in a relationship if they feel that it's going to be the same as what they left. Now, the problem with this approach is that you might be thinking, is this person right for me? Because you're doing the work, you might not want them back. So right now you're looking at this video thinking, I want my ex, and I just want to make sure whether, he's dating someone or she's dating someone, and maybe, do I have any chance? And when you do the work, you see things differently. You elevate yourself personally, but also in the context of relationship. Because you face your fears, because you understand your triggers, you understand your attachment style, you understand your partner's attachment style, and you grew. You might, it happens sometimes, you might find yourself looking at your ex from a different perspective, looking at them with pity, with this idea of you're missing the whole point. I'm on a journey of personal growth, and you're just there to distract yourself, looking at instant pleasure, instant gratification. Was like, I feel like I find somehow my purpose. I ask myself big questions, and I'm on a journey to find those answers. And you're just trying to avoid things. Avoid dealing with the big things. Because looking at those big questions is also a way to build intimacy with your partner. And if you can't have a conversation about those things, your fears, your aspirations, you're not going to build a strong relationship with that person. And so that's why after you're doing this work, you might wonder whether you want them back. Let me know in the comment section how you reflected on this video. I want to know, because it's very important for you to understand that very often how you can feel better is correlated with your mindset, with your ability not only to believe but to do the work. Let me know in the comment section, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.